The 30 Years' War, a delve into the irony and the tragedy, was released in 1998, and it's actually really good. It's one of his nonfiction books, and as academic as it seems to come off as, it doesn't really focus on like key figures and dates and battles and shit. Like, it's not like a textbook. Like the Heidegger was a textbook. It was like boring as fuck. This is more like just the grand scheme of the war and what it meant for Europe and like the morality and all this shit. It's like it says, it's a delve into the irony and the tragedy. The 30 Years' War, for those of you who don't know, was a religious war in Central Europe between 1618 and 1648, of like one splinter of Christianity against the other, and like millions of people died. I think like 8 million people died, somewhere between 5 and 8 million people died, mostly like low level, like peasants, like random people were just living in a town, and then like soldiers rolled up, burned their town, raped everyone, took all their shit. Like awful 30 years of just straight horribleness, war crimes, awfulness, all in the name of God. That's the thing. It's a delve into the tragedy and the irony. It's like to kill millions in the name of your God is the least godly thing to do. That's sort of what it's about. The book starts off with a quote from the Siege of Melos. The strong do what they can, the weak suffer what they must. Innocent serfs and peasants and people being trampled by the hooves of this king or another's army. But here's the kicker. This is why I love this book so much. It's kind of got a War and Peace vibe to it, because it has its academic integrity revoked. So basically, like if I were writing a university essay on the 30 Years' War, if I used this as a source, it wouldn't be allowed. It would be like, it's like citing a fiction book, because he switched the religions and he moved the dates 2 years up. So basically, in real life, the war was caused by Emperor Ferdinand II, who forced everyone to be Catholic in 1619. But in this, it was in 1621, and he forced everyone to be Protestant. So, I don't know why he did the years thing, I'm gonna be honest, but the flipping of the religions is poetic as fuck. It is so poetic, because the whole point is that it doesn't matter, because the splintering between Protestant and Catholic is really small. It's really, it's not that big of a deal. I know saying that is like kind of controversial, but like, it's not that big of a difference. It's like, one believes in the Holy Trinity is one thing, and the other one believes it's 3 separate things. Like, it's like tiny as fuck, and millions of people died over this bullshit, and it was mostly territorial, right? Like, that's always what it is. People want power, and they just align themselves with this thing or another. Fuck. Anyways, you're splitting hairs here, and you're splitting hairs and killing 8 million people in the process, and he's critiquing that, and that is poetic, tragic, and ironic. It is exactly a delve into the irony and the tragedy of the war. It's great. I give this book an 8 out of 10. 8, those 2 points are docked because it is a little long. I don't know if you can see this. It's like, it's a hefty fucking book, and like, I don't know, it probably didn't have to be that long. He just writes a lot, which I respect. I do it too. My God, you've seen my work. I just won't stop talking, so I get it. But he could have trimmed it down a bit more, but I still really recommend it. I think you should read this. It's really good. It's just so dramatic. It's got that like Flight from Rome drama to it, just like in the way he writes. And it's definitely just a middle finger to the academic world. It's like, I'll always get behind that. I feel like all of academia and science and, you know, those kind of guys and universities and shit, mainstream academia is like a blanket fort with a no girls allowed sign on it. And that's not even an explicitly feminist take. That's just like the vibe I get.